The purpose of this video is to illustrate the use of managers when multiprocessing in Python, and specifically I'm referring to the multiprocessing library in Python. This is my project, and this is a class that I created called sorter. It has two main methods, and the purpose for these two methods, the idea behind these two methods is to take a list of numbers and sort that list of numbers by either using threading or multiprocessing. First, let me show you what the result is when I run this script. Of course, this is the main method of the module, of the class, and it has a lot of print statements. And we can see the result right here. So we can see that the merge sort by threading did work. It took 14.6 seconds. This method took a number of unsorted numbers as a list, and it sorted that list of numbers and returned it. And we can see that the returned list seems to be sorted. However, this is not the case with the multiprocessing implementation of the merge sort. We can see that the returned result is an empty list, and 0 numbers were sorted. 0 items were sorted. Why do we have this problem? The problem is here. This is an instance variable. I don't want to get into too much detail because it can be confusing. But I will briefly describe what the problem is, and just please try to look at the big picture and not focus too much on the details of my exact algorithm and my implementation. So this multiprocessing method creates a number of processes right here, and each of those processes call a target function, and these arguments are passed to the target function. In other words, this target function is run on each of the processes. These are independent processes. And the problem with these processes is that they do not have access to instance variables, such as this one. In other words, you cannot modify instance variables when using multiprocessing in Python. And here, this is the target function that I mentioned, which sorts the list of numbers that it receives, and it then appends this instance variable with its results, the sorted list of numbers. However, since this method is being run on a process that does not have access to this instance variable, nothing is being actually appended or added to this variable, to this list. So at the end of this method, when the merging is done, the merging is being done on a set of empty lists, or actually nothing. There is nothing in this list. It's empty. And hence why we actually get an empty list as the output for this method. Now, the way you can get around this is by using a manager. This library, the multiprocessing library in Python, provides a number of different tools to address this issue. And the issue we have here is we want to share data among different processes. One way you can do this, as I mentioned, is with managers. This is how you could create a manager object, and then each manager object has a very useful tool called manager lists. And this is how you create a manager list. And this list, the benefit of using it is that it can be manipulated or accessed by each of the independent processes. So instead of the previous target function, I here create a new target function, and instead of appending or trying to modify the original instance variable, this method tries to append or modify the manager list successfully. And at the end of this method, when we try to merge our manager list, we're successful because this list is no longer empty, and it holds the values that it should. So this just shows how easy it is to use managers, and how useful they can be in your program if you decide to use multiprocessing in Python. I hope you find this video useful, and thank you for listening, and thank you for watching the video.